Good morning, Knights. On most Fridays this school year, we will have an adjusted activity schedule for clubs. Next Friday, we will take time to share more specifics about club expectations and the sign-up process. Today, we'll be sharing with you some important information regarding expectations at Middletown High School. It is the expectation that students are responsible for knowing, understanding, and complying with FCPS and MHS policies and regulations. The expectations that we will review today can also be found in the FCPS Calendar Handbook, on the FCPS website, and in the MHS Student Handbook, which is available on the website.
We hope by now you're familiar with our mantra, ready, respectful, and relentless. But what does that mean? Students should arrive every morning to school focused and ready to learn. This could include getting enough sleep the night before, eating a healthy breakfast, and arriving with all homework completed. Students should arrive to class with all necessary materials. We also expect that students will be on time to class. This means in his or her seat by the bell. Students at Middletown High School should be respectful of all staff, students, and visitors. This means following all classroom rules and guidelines set by each individual classroom teacher, using appropriate tone and language when speaking to others, and honoring the commonalities and differences of those you encounter throughout the day. Relentless means putting forth your best effort at all times. Students at MHS are expected to challenge themselves, be open to feedback, and capitalize on opportunities to improve. Students should make every effort to complete all assignments on time and to the best of their ability. Students are expected to complete assignments with an integrity and follow the MHS honor philosophy. Let's take the time to review cheating and plagiarism. The nature of the schooling experience demands the highest standards of integrity on the part of all involved. The MHS community acknowledges that learning is a right and responsibility of all students. A student's work is a reflection of self-pride. Therefore, the honor philosophy of this school recognizes that ideas belong to those who create and articulate them. That to submit work that is not one's own is an insult to the efforts of one's peers. That to claim the rights or works of another as one's own is to steal from the originator, and to deceive those to whom the material is presented. That to be dishonest is to degrade oneself. Students are responsible for understanding the definition and meaning of plagiarism and cheating. Students are expected to refrain from cheating, plagiarizing, facilitating academic dishonesty, abusing academic materials, stealing, or lying. Students should report every instance in which they have knowledge that academic dishonesty has taken place. Outcomes for violating the honor philosophy will result in parent contact, loss of credit, disciplinary consequences, and honor society notification. Remember, the 3 R's extend beyond the classroom. This year, we will be rolling out behavior expectations for the cafeteria, transition times, and extracurricular events and performances.
During lunch shifts, students are permitted to visit the Media Center and Guidance Office. Students should use the cafeteria restrooms during lunch. Students are not permitted in other areas of the building. Students found out of area will face disciplinary consequences. On nice days, upperclassmen may eat outside at the picnic tables. Lunch is an appropriate time to relax and discourse with friends. However, students remain in an educational setting, and it is important to use proper language and volume control. Above all else, our custodial team works hard to maintain a clean building and educational experience for all students. It is your responsibility as young adults to clean up after yourself and leave the cafeteria as you found it. Place refuse in the trash cans and recyclables in the blue containers. Students who leave behind trash will be assigned the opportunity to support the cleanup of the cafeteria on the next lunch shift.
Transitions include arrival, dismissal, and moving between classes. During these times, you should exhibit the same appropriate behaviors that you would in any other school setting. Students arriving to school prior to 7:15 should remain in the cafeteria or front lobby. Students need to plan travel in order to arrive to their destination on time. Think ahead about what you need to do and where you need to go in between classes. Do you need to use the restroom, visit your locker, or speak with a teacher? This may mean shortening the social time with friends. Traffic flow in the hallways is most efficient when everyone follows some basic guidelines. Walk to the right, keep your hands to yourself, and be aware of others. Avoid looking down at your cell phone or stopping to have a conversation with others in the middle of the hallway. It is also common courtesy to allow people to exit a room prior to entering. Do your best to assist or offer help to others in need, such as opening doors or helping to pick up dropped items. As always, we expect all students to be relentless in their efforts to keep your school looking great and operating properly. Take care of our hallways by keeping them clear of trash and debris. Make every effort to avoid touching bulletin boards, posters, and displays of student work. Always report any observed problems with facilities to a staff member. At the conclusion of the school day, students are expected to promptly exit the building or report to an assigned teacher, advisor, or coach. Students not under the direct supervision of an adult after 2:30 will be asked to leave.
Let's talk about student expectations at events. Students are representatives of Middletown High School regardless of their location and time of day. This is particularly true during extracurricular activities such as athletic contests and performances. Knights establish themselves as leaders in their conduct before, during, and after contests and events. Always provide positive support for your team rather than intimidating or ridiculing the other team. Assist cheerleaders with yells and chants, and be a working part of the process through organization and preparation. Treat opposing players, coaches, and spectators with respect and enthusiasm. When attending performances, be sure to arrive on time, silence your cell phone, and be prepared to remain seated for the entire performance. Regardless of the type of event, always conduct yourself in an exemplary manner. Remember, you represent MHS both at home and away. Respect the integrity and judgment of game officials and judges. We want to make a positive impact on the officials even if we disagree with their judgment. Be an exemplary role model by positively supporting peers in every possible manner. FCPS has a special message about sportsmanship and respecting the game.
Sportsmanship is a critical part of the interscholastic athletic experience for our student athletes in Frederick County Public Schools and the new Central Maryland Conference. We expect all of our student athletes to respect the game no matter what sport they are competing in. So what does respecting the game mean? How about we let our student athletes explain?
I respect the game by encouraging teammates who are struggling.
They would do the same for me.
I respect the game by not posting negative social media comments about my opponents or teammates.
Social media reveals your true character. Anyone can see your posts, including colleges and future employers.
I respect the game by reminding my parents not to yell at officials or coaches.
It's really embarrassing to me, and I'm not perfect, nor are they.
I respect the game by assisting teammates when they need help. Because on the field we're teammates, but off the field we're friends.
I respect the game by not trash talking an opponent.
If an opponent does that, I simply ignore it and move on.
I respect the game by shaking hands with an opponent after a game.
That can be tough after a loss, but character counts before, during, and after a game.
I respect the game by competing and training safely and within the rules.
I listen to guidance from coaches, officials, and athletic trainers.
I respect the game by listening to my coach and following his or her directions.
Without our coaches, we couldn't compete.
I respect the game by always doing what's best for the team.
Sometimes it's tough, but there is no I in team.
I respect the game by doing the best I can all the time.
And if I do that, I'm victorious no matter what.
I respect the game by playing for the name on the front of the jersey and not the back.
I know the team is more important than my individual statistics.
I respect the game by going to every single practice and trying hard at all of them.
Practice doesn't make us perfect. Nobody's perfect.
But it does make us better.
I respect the game by following all the rules and respecting the calls that officials make.
That's true. Even when I disagree with an official, I show respect and keep competing.
I respect the game by thanking our fans for supporting us.
We appreciate your support and encouragement.
I respect the game by reminding our student section to cheer appropriately.
We want them to have fun and cheer loudly for our teams, but never against our opponents.
Central Maryland Conference student athletes make us proud when they compete. They definitely know how to respect the game. It is our hope that everyone will support these student athletes as FCPS and the new CMC create a culture committed to excellence in academics, athletics, and character development. Thank you, and let's all remember to respect the game.
Bullying and harassment. Every person deserves respect and the right to attend school and school functions without the threat of bullying, harassment, or intimidation. Bullying, harassment, or intimidation includes ongoing intentional conduct, including verbal, physical, or written conduct, or intentional electronic communication that creates a hostile educational environment by substantially interfering with a student's educational benefits, opportunities, or performance, or a student's physical or psychological well-being that occurs on school property, at a school activity or event, or on the school bus. Students who witness bullying or are the victims of bullying should immediately notify a staff member. Students who would like to submit a bullying, harassment, or intimidation reporting form should contact guidance office, school support, or administration. The reporting form is also available on the FCPS website.
Part of coming to school ready to learn includes wearing appropriate clothing. While we respect each student's right to dress in a manner representative of their taste and personality, clothing needs to be appropriate for the school venue and not distracting or offensive to others. The following dress code guidelines are set forth by Frederick County Public Schools. Hats, bandanas, and other head coverings are to be removed and not to be worn in the building at any time between 7:30 and 2:15. Students should not wear unduly revealing clothing, such as see-through shirts, tops cut low at the neck, or low under their arms. This includes muscle shirts. Those exposing bare midriffs, shoulders, or backs, pants or skirts worn below the hips, exposing the student's underwear or skin. Pants, shorts, and skirts will cover undergarments at all times. Underwear should not be visible and should not be worn as outerwear. Skirts and shorts should not be worn excessively short. Clothing which advertises drugs or alcohol and/or contains graphics which may be perceived as socially or morally offensive may not be worn. This includes graphics of weapons. Clothes or items that feature sexually offensive or vulgar words, drawings, pictures, or phrases are not permitted. Clothes or items such as buttons, armbands, flags, badges, decals, or anything of symbolic expression that could substantially disrupt or materially interfere with school activities or that are legally libelous or obscene may not be worn. Clothing or items containing derogatory expressions or language regarding a person's race, color, gender, national origin, religion, sexual orientation, or disability that could disrupt school activities are not permitted. Staff has the right to address students who are in violation of the dress code. Students may be issued a pass to go to the office to speak with an administrator. Students will have the opportunity to contact home about acquiring different clothing or receive temporary clothing from the office. Repeated violations will result in disciplinary action beyond the change of clothing.
Now we're going to talk about attendance. Students are expected to attend school every day. However, we know there are instances when students may miss school due to illness or family emergencies. If absent, students are expected to turn a note into the attendance office within 2 days. If leaving early, students must bring in a note in advance. When leaving and returning to the building for any reason, students must sign the log in the attendance office. To be permitted to make up missed assignments, you must turn in a note. Otherwise, the assignments will earn a score of 0. Students who have more than 5 unexcused absences in a term, 10 unexcused absences in a semester, or 20 for the school year, will fail all of their courses due to attendance. Students must submit a completed vacation and college trip form before the planned trip. Forms are located in the attendance office or on the MHS website. Students who are unable to arrive to class before the 7:30 bell will not be permitted into class without a pass from the attendance office. Students arriving late to school without a legal excuse note will be issued a warning after the first late, a 30-minute after-school detention after their third late, a 1-hour after-school detention for their 6th late, and a Saturday school for their 10th late. Oversleeping, car trouble, missing the bus, or a late ride are not legal excuses. Please arrive on time to avoid consequences. In order for a student to be eligible to participate in any extracurricular activity, the student must be in attendance a full day on the date of the activity or competition. Students who are absent or are admitted to school after 8:30 a.m., legal or illegal, or arrive to school at any time during the day are ineligible to participate that day unless they present a doctor's note or approval form from an administrator. If the absence or late arrival is a result of illness or injury, a doctor's note is required.
Many of you drive to school or will start driving to school this year. Remember, a parking permit is required for all students to park on the property during school hours. Vehicles without permits will be ticketed. Visitors must park in visitor slots. Seniors and work-study students are given priority as parking space is limited. Students must not assume that space is available for everyone who wishes to drive. Only registered vehicles are allowed to park on campus. This includes designated areas in the town park. Consequences for breaking the driving and parking rules are included in the parking agreement form. Students must complete a parking agreement form and submit the required documents. Students must present, at the time they register a vehicle, the driver's license and the registration card for each vehicle being registered to park. Both the student and parent must sign the agreement. We request that students avoid parking in the identified reserved parking spaces in the front circle even beyond normal school hours. These spaces have been reserved for administrators and law enforcement vehicles. Due to the high volume of traffic in the busy MHS office, deliveries to students during the school day are prohibited. While we understand the sentiment of sending balloons, cakes, and flowers to school to celebrate, these items will not be delivered to students and will remain in the office until dismissal. New this year, in compliance with state and federal law, and to ensure the health and safety of all students, FCPS has updated a regulation that states, parents and visitors are only permitted to bring in food that is intended for the consumption by individual students. For health and safety reasons, students are only permitted to bring in food for personal consumption. All other items dropped off to students during the school day will be placed in one of the black bins in the front office for students to pick up.
BYOD. FCPS encourages the use of cell phones and electronic devices as supplementary aids to enhance instruction. While these devices are welcomed in the building, students are expected to abide by the BYOD guidelines. Cell phones, electronic devices must be turned off and out of sight between 7:30 a.m. and 2:15 p.m. each day, with the exception of lunch, unless directed by a teacher. MHS Wi-Fi usage is for educational purposes. Electronic devices may not be used to take or transfer any images at any time on school premises unless part of an educational exercise. Students who take or transfer images, photos, and other things like videos may receive an office referral. Misuse of these devices may result in an item being confiscated, and the student will be required to sign a cell phone electronic device contract with the following consequences. For the first and second offenses, the device will be confiscated and returned at the end of the day. On the third offense, the device will be confiscated, a referral will be given, and a parent pickup of the device will be required. On the fourth and fifth offenses, the device will be confiscated, a referral given, parent pickup will be required again, and you will be assigned to Saturday school. For each additional offense after 5, we will consider that continued willful disobedience, and an in-school retention will be provided. If a parent needs to contact their student, they may do so by calling the front office to leave a message.
BYOD means bring your own device. What it really means, though, is more access to technology for students in Frederick County Public Schools. FCPS is working to create a 21st century learning environment for all of our students in all of our schools. Technology is everywhere, and to stay competitive, students in Frederick County need to be able to integrate technology into their lives at home and at school.
It will stretch access by allowing students and teachers to use technology at any moment in any part of the day to access anything. Really, the information is available at the touch of a button.
In FCPS, we are piloting a brand new program to help get us there. Our end goal is to enable all our students and staff to access an FCPS wireless network with their personal devices during the school day as part of instruction. As a first step, we are trying this out in 3 schools: Spring Ridge Elementary, Windsor Knolls Middle, and Catoctin High School. With the permission of classroom teachers, students will be able to use their own devices to access a variety of internet-based instructional resources, with the additional ability to collaborate and interact with their teachers and classmates.
If you have your own device, you can obviously know how to use the device better, as opposed to working with a brand new device.
Well, I'm familiar with my own computer, and I would have to learn other technologies, so it's I already know what I'm doing.
Instead of using other people's devices or using a slower computer, I know what I'm doing with my own cell phone.
Here's how it's going to work. Students who want to BYOD need to bring in this permission slip. It'll be provided by school staff. Students will then have access to the official FCPS BYOD network. We'll be filtering content while students are accessing the internet at school. Everyone who participates in the BYOD program needs to know that it's their responsibility, as always, not to use the device to disrupt the school environment, to compromise academic integrity, or to violate the rights of others. BYOD is a great opportunity, and it's also a responsibility. Students without personal devices will be supported too.
No student is going to go without technology. A student doesn't have a device to bring in. We do have items available that students can use. We still have computer labs. We still have teacher computers, teacher laptops. The benefits of BYOD for students would definitely being able to use their own device that they're already familiar with. They're always going to be able to have their work at their fingertips and to complete and access their work.
Our level of engagement is second to none right now. All the kids are really excited about participating, and kids that normally maybe a little bit withdrawn, that would not participate as much, suddenly are very active in our discussions, our warm-ups, and our activities.
Keep in mind, devices belong to the students who bring them. Students need to bring them in charged and ready to go, and keep track of them throughout the day. Lots of schools across the nation are implementing bring your own device policies for their students and staff. FCPS is leading the way in Maryland by allowing students to use their own technology. We want to increase the access all students have to the technology they need to succeed.
To conclude our presentation, we would like to review some very important reminders about policies and regulations which have been instituted to keep everyone safe. Violating any of these policies and regulations may result in serious consequences for everyone involved. Bomb threats. It is unlawful for anyone to threaten harm to a school and its occupants in any way, including in person, by telephone, or by any other means. Students who do so will be arrested and will be recommended for expulsion. This particularly pertains to bomb threats. Firearm and weapon possession and possession of any firearm or weapon by a student on school property, including in vehicles parked on school property, is strictly forbidden. Look-alike weapons are also prohibited. Offenders will face disciplinary consequences and possibly criminal prosecution from the state's attorney's office.
Medication can only be administered by the school nurse or health technician. Students may not bring any medication, prescription or non-prescription, to school. Properly labeled medication must be brought to school by a parent or guardian. Medication cannot be administered in school without a written physician's order and/or prescription label if applicable, and a parent guardian's written authorization. Medication will be stored in the health room. The staff and administration of Middletown High School join this community in recognizing the critical importance of having a school that is absolutely drug and alcohol free. Any student with information regarding the presence or use of drugs or alcohol at our school is strongly encouraged and welcome to report concerns to staff. Students may speak freely and confidentially to any administrator at any time. Disciplinary consequences for possession, distribution, or being under the influence of alcohol or controlled substances are outlined in the calendar handbook and online in Regulation 400-08. The possession, distribution, and/or use of tobacco is prohibited on school property. Students found to be in possession of tobacco products will be referred to the Frederick County Health Department for evaluation. Students who are found in possession on multiple occasions will incur additional school-based consequences. Vaporizers are considered in the same category as tobacco. They too will be confiscated, parent contact will be made, and referral to the health department will also be issued.
As part of the continuing effort to keep our schools free of illegal substances, periodic searches of lockers and cars will be conducted by police and trained drug-sniffing dogs. Searches will not be announced and will occur while students are in class. If a dog alerts on a particular locker, the student will be called and the locker will be searched in accordance with procedure. If the dogs indicate a car, the owner will be contacted by the police department. The police will be in full control in this case. In either case, appropriate disciplinary action by school officials will follow. A principal or assistant principal may make a reasonable search of a student and their belongings on the school premises if there is a reasonable belief that the student is in possession of any prohibited item, such as drugs, alcohol, tobacco, weapons, or stolen goods. Thank you for your attention today. We hope that you have a fantastic Friday and a wonderful weekend.